You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
How about a poster? Anthony Davis is on fire.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned in to the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. I'm Big Q chiming with you on podcast 299. That's right, 299 on the podcast. And in today's fantastic Pelican postgame report, we're going to recap the Brooklyn Nets loss. The Pelicans 126-121 to the Brooklyn Nets. Pelicans now fall to 17-22, a miserable 4-16 on the road record. And without further ado, we're going to give you a round of applause for joining us. Thank you for joining us today, new and established listeners of the Pelican Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network. As said before, we'll recap the loss, 126-121 to the Brooklyn Nets. You know, what could we do about the Pelicans, you know? What could we do? What could I tell you before today's show that I didn't tell you and the many shows prior to this one? If you just go back and research the shows, listen to the commentary, I find that you might agree with me on a lot of topics dealing with this team. The back and forth, totally inconsistency of the team is totally just repugnant. The Pelicans do have an upcoming game on the 5th of January in a few days. They travel to Cleveland and take on the Cavaliers, who are just one of the NBA's worst teams currently. We'll preview that game today, but also in this game we'll break the current game, the Nets game down with stats, facts, breakdown. Also have Coach Al Gentry chime in with his thoughts on why they lost, Anthony Davis, and also we'll have Alfred Payton. He'll chime in with his thoughts coming back for the second game here. So without further ado, let's get right into this loss. The Pelicans pulled on just where do we go? You know, what can I tell you? Inconsistencies. Remember, you know, before we get into all of the players, and for the record, for the millionth time, I'll tell you, and a lot of my friends on Reddit agree with me, that the Pelicans have all it takes to win games. I mean, seriously, this is the type of team, the Brooklyn Nets. If you listen to the previous show, I said the Pelicans should go on a 5-game winning streak, started with the game against Minnesota. Of course, it didn't happen as that, didn't quite happen as such. The Pelicans ended up losing by 5 to a Brooklyn Net club they shouldn't have lost to. This is one of those teams that you don't lose to. This is a team, not even a Midland team, but a bottom-feeding team who really is trying but will probably miss the playoffs in the East. And the East is weak. The Brooklyn Nets are a team that nobody picked to make the playoffs. They have no aspirations, but this team comes out and beat the Pelican club, who continues to just, I don't know, man. How do you beat Minnesota, who's a totally better team than Brooklyn, then turn around and lose to Brooklyn? Playing up and down to your competition. Is that it? Is it on the players or is it on the coach? I keep saying this and I'll go back, that the team is reflective of the ideology of the coach and general manager. General manager picks the coach. The coach ultimately gets with the GM. They get the personnel. Now, many times I've seen Elvin Gentry. I think Dell Demps added players that Gentry didn't ask for, that don't necessarily fit his system. The first couple years, that was what it was. You can't tell me that when they had Alexis Jinka down here that he fits the running system of Al Gentry. Of course he didn't. The first year he was here, they had Kendrick Perkins. Perkins can't run, but he was on the staff. So I was saying that just the divide between the philosophy of what Gentry was trying to do and the player personnel that GM Dale Demps was adding to him. Let's get this straight. I think this is more so, you could blame Demps for bringing Al Gentry here, but this is more on Elvin Gentry. If you look at what's been happening with this team, it's just the fact that this is breakdowns on the defensive end constantly, and you have to make a change somewhere around the line. That's why he doesn't stay too long with head coaching jobs, because he is not a good adjuster, meaning that if you notice you're lacking the defense, your players are not responding to you on defense, what are you supposed to do here? That's the thing. What are you supposed to do when your players are not responding to you defensively, right? What do? You bring in a fresh voice? Perhaps that's what Dale Demps needs to do. He needs to force Al Gentry or fire out. People say fire Elvin Gentry might be a little too harsh. Man, listen, get this dude out of here. Run this guy off. Excuse my French. Run him off. Get him out of here before you have a bigger debacle on your hands. Because I tell you what, if Anthony Davis leaves here, you might as well take all of them people that's in the front office, throw their butts out of here as soon as possible. None of them should have a job if they allow Anthony Davis to get pissed off and eventually ultimately leave. Because we keep getting reports. There was one by NBC about the Pelicans pissing off Anthony Davis and all this kind of nonsense, and I'm sick of hearing it. And people say, well, it's just rumors. Let me tell you, where there's smoke, there's fire. Some of this stuff is leaking because agents are leaking this to the press unofficially, leaking this stuff. This is how most of this stuff gets out. Remember, when people thought Kawhi Leonard would never leave San Antonio, people thought Paul George would leave. Stars up and move all the time because they want to win. What more could you ask Anthony Davis to do that he's not been doing for this team? And he gets out there and plays his butt off. The man played his butt off. He had 34 points in this game. 34 points in this matchup. He finished with 34 points and 26 rebounds. What more could you ask for him? He scored 34 and snatched 26 rebounds. They had actually 5 people in double digits and still lost the game. You know why? Because they had 0 help off the bench. This is not about 5 people starting. Now, before I give you the statistics on all of this stuff, let's hear what Alvin Gentry, what kind of insight could Coach Alvin Gentry provide for us confused people here? What could he provide? Well, here's Coach Gentry to kind of brighten up whatever disposition or questions that you may have. Here's Coach Gentry to answer them for you.
They started out shooting the ball extremely well. We got behind and, you're playing uphill. Like we know this story. We've seen this story before. We're playing uphill. It's extremely hard against a team with that talent level that has the ability to score. Once again, you're talking about a perfect storm to get back. And, we almost got there, but we just didn't. But you got to start the game where, you can't get that kind of separation and think that against a team with that kind of firepower that you're going to be able to get all the way back. But I did think that we competed like crazy, especially the second half. We did a good job of moving the basketball. We made a few adjustments. We scored enough points to win, but you got to be able to come up with stops. I thought our on-ball defense was not very good tonight from anyone, really. And there was too much penetration to the basket and too much driving kicks for threes when we had to pull our defense in, and I think that was our downfall right there.
Coach, did the bench scoring play a role in tonight's loss?
Well, we didn't. Those in defense of them, they didn't play a lot of minutes, but we just felt like, the guys that we had in there, we had to leave in if we were going to have an opportunity to win.
Alfred Payton went over the minute limit that we had talked about in the beginning. How do you think he handled that? Is he ready for that?
I thought he handled it great. I asked him several times, and he said, my body feels great, and I feel like I can do it, and we really need to win this game, and I want to stay in. So, probably about 5 minutes more than we wanted to play him, really. But I think he'll be okay. Obviously we got 3 days before we play again, so that was a factor also. But, I like I said, I thought we played great and competed like crazy in the fourth quarter, held them to 14 points. But, once again, you're talking about playing from behind, and it's very difficult in this league to play from behind, especially when you're in that double digits league, and be able to have the perfect storm to not only come back, to be able to get over the hump. It happened here last year with us. I don't know if you remember the game, but we were up 29 and had to end up winning the game in overtime, but we won the game, and that's what we're saying, that it's just too hard to get down with those kind of numbers and come back all the way and win the game.
Another tough one on the road for you guys. You guys have had the best record on the road. You got a bunch of road games coming up. Given how tough this conference is, do you see this as a pivotal stretch for the team, this trip?
I think anything is pivotal, right now. I think when you get to the point where, you're almost 40 games in, it becomes pivotal. I think it becomes a situation where you have to, start winning games. And if you're going to stay in the playoff race, you got to find a way to start winning games. And obviously, we've got a lot of games on the road this month, so we're going to have to at least change the way these games are ending and be able to come up with a few plays here offensively, a few plays here defensively in order to win the game.
when Anthony gives you that kind of night and you don't get the end result that you want, does that make it sting anymore, or is it all the same?
It's all the same. I mean, a loss is a loss. It doesn't matter. You know, him having, 32 or 34 points and 26 rebounds that's not unusual for us, Maybe the 26 rebounds, but the points and the, 15, 18, 20 rebounds is what we're accustomed to getting from him. So that's not one of those wow games. It's pretty typical for him. So, we just gotta be able to step up, collectively and be able to find a way to win a game like that especially when we play defensively the way we did in the fourth quarter. But, once again, we're playing from a 20-point lead, trying to erase a 20-point lead. So, thought we played great. 14 points after giving up 39 in the first quarter is great, but, not when you're trying to erase a 24, 22, 21-point lead.
That's Coach Al Gentry giving you thoughts on the game. Of course, he's chiming on a defensive aspect. Now, that's not no big whoop. We know that the reason why the Pelicans losing a lot of these games because their defense stinks. It's the fact that his system is flawed. He won't admit to us saying it, that we got to do this, that, and the third. No, he has to change the system and stop. You won't create everybody shooting threes. Who's going to rebound the ball? Who's supposed to leak out to the basket and stay underneath there when they're jacking up threes all day? Who's supposed to offensively rebound? Seriously, who's supposed to rebound? You got to create a situation where you can't have all this chaos going offensively. And when you tell them to rush back to the other end, how are they still allowing walk-up layups and easy backdoor layups? The defense stinks. It's time for us to tell it what it is. The coaches is not doing their job. The coaches need to be removed. If you don't want to fire Al Gentry, I said fire him and get him out of here. Bring somebody in who can teach this team how to play balanced ball defensively. You can't have a bunch of people shooting three-pointers all over the place. And about Elfrid Payton's minute restriction, it was 20-something, 21, 25 minutes. He played in 34 minutes, man, against the will of the medical staff. And you want to talk to me about, man, it's just too much. Look, we're going to finish it out on the other side of the break. We're going to finish this breakdown on the Brooklyn Nets game. We also going to preview the upcoming game against Cleveland. I got interviews for Anthony Davis and Elfrid Payton. All that on the other side of the break. Stick with us. You're listening to the Pelican Post-Game Report on the PRO Media Network.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needs it the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to embracepetiinsurance.com. That's embracepetiinsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Valley. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registrars and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
There's a lot of reasons to be a fan, but only NBAStore.com has all the gear.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network.
You're listening to the Pelicans postgame report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
For all things Pelicans, you're listening to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network, breaking down the Pelicans 126-121 loss. The Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. What can I tell you, man? Statistically, Elfrid Payton played in this game beyond his minute restriction. 21 or 25 minutes he was supposed to play. Under 25 minutes or he played 34 minutes. Told Al Gentry, look, I'm good to go. No, minute restrictions is minute restrictions. The guy just came back from surgery with his finger. You want to take it slow. But he got him in there. He played 34 minutes, gave you 25 points and about 7 assists. That's not bad. But we got to stay disciplined in this thing here. We got to stay disciplined. And then besides, there are other guys that you can play where you don't have to force him out there for 34 minutes. You know, you played Frank Jackson 5 minutes. Tim Frazier, I wouldn't say play Tim Frazier anything. He only had 2 points in 9 minutes. But really, the reality of the situation is Darius Miller came off the bench. He had 29 minutes. Remember the last game against Minnesota, he had 21 points. This game, he had 3. That's why I told you that Darius Miller is not one of those guys you can feed minutes to because he's terribly inconsistent. How do you have 21 one game and 3 the next? Because he's a role guy. Reduce his minutes. He doesn't need 29 minutes a game. You know, it's just unfeasible. The bench is not helping the team go. And why? Because he don't have a bench. What I mean by that is most of the scoring he's throwing it into the starting lineup and piled all of his starters with extra minutes. 42 minutes for Anthony Davis. He had 34 points, 26 rebounds. Man gave you everything he can give you. Julius Randle 21 and 4 through 34 minutes. Elfrid Payton went 10 plus minutes beyond his restriction. 25.7 assists. Drew Holiday 20 points, 4 assists, and 37 minutes. And Etuan Moore back in the starting lineup, which I don't like because he's too small to be a small forward. He's a 2 guard, not a small forward. 16 points in 36 minutes. What happens? They lose by 5. How do you lose by 5? How do you do that? And you have 5 people scoring over 15 points. It's 6, the lowest guy. Was Etuan Moore scoring, whatever. How do you still lose the game and your whole starting lineup in double figures? And you still lose the game by 5. Well, team statistics tell you why. Let's take a look. The Pelicans shot 46 of 87 for 53%. Not bad. That's still 3% higher than what the Nets shot. But the thing was, they were 10 of 23 from downtown for 43.5%. So they were 10 of 23. Shooting from downtown. The problem was Brooklyn was 16 of 31, and most of those shots they were hitting wide open 3-pointer. Perimeter defense stinks. And then why the Pelicans lose by 5? Look at the free throws, 19 of 27 for 70%. You asking me how they're losing games by 5? Because they're leaving points on the floor. The free throws alone could have helped them if they would have converted above 75%. They could have won the game in the clinches when it comes to, because when you get tight games like that, those free throws that you're missing repetitively at the line, one moment they shoot 85, 90%, the next moment they 70%. How do you go differences from peaks to valleys like that? It's just mind-boggling. Rebounds 49-51 advantage the Nets. Assists totally out-assisted the Pelicans 27-19. Steals are tied at 7. Blocks are tied at 5. The Pelicans did hold the turnovers down to just 12 while giving up 15 points on those. Nets gave up 10 for 22 points. Didn't make any much difference. The Pelicans did out fast break 19-11 on the fast break points, and points in the paint. They did beat them by 8, 56-48. But the problem down the stretches continued to overwhelm the team. Now you take a look around. You say, well, we still lost by 5. How did we lose by 5? Well, they shot 43% from downtown, 10 of 23, kept jacking them up. You look at the free throws, 19 of 27. You leaving points all around. And when that happens, you turn around, you're looking for a little advantage. You don't gain one. The defense continues to stink. Quack Jones asked me a while ago, we need to start, when are we going to starting this campaign to fire Al Gentry? We're going to start that now. And I want all my Pelican faithful and the Pelican Postgame Report people to rock with me on that. Share this show. We're going to start getting this campaign together to get Elvin Gentry out of here before we lose Anthony Davis. We need to take this serious. He got to go, and there need to be a change up in his system because he's not teaching them to play defense. They're not consistently shooting free throws well. All of the fundamental stuff that most teams have that help them win games. We're not doing it well at all. You know, everything, I'm tired of seeing his old face up there talk about we not running fast enough and then our perimeter defense and all this kind of stuff when he's supposed to have that man Erman from Boston who's supposed to be the big defensive guru who's sitting up there looking crazy every night. It's time to move these guys out of here. It's time to get this old deadbeat staff out of here and find people in here who can energize this team to make them play because they got it in them. You know, and it's slowly slipping away. We should not be losing to Brooklyn, and I promise you we should not lose. There are 2 games coming up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. If we lose either one of those games, we need to get him out of here because we done played around with Gentry all last year, 18, 20, late when the season started, 18. It's 19. It's playoff. It's time to be getting a lot of these wrinkles ironed out now. It's about to get serious here. But anyway, let's listen to what Anthony Davis has to say about another team loss with him putting up big digits. This man, 35 and 26. He had 34 points with 26 rebounds. What more can Anthony Davis give you that he hadn't given you before, Al Gentry? And it's just sorrowful. I'm sick and tired of sorrowful basketball because the coach is in the way with these dumb decisions on his lineups. Here's AD to tell you about it.
Playing on defense. Whole first half, they did whatever they want. They didn't feel us on the defensive end. He wasn't physical, wasn't talking. He got a lot of layups, a lot of open threes. They shot the ball extremely well in the first half. Dudes are lazy defense. It doesn't matter about numbers. I'm just worried about the win. We didn't get that tonight, so my numbers don't matter. We got to do a better job on defensive end.
How did you feel coming back into the lineup today? You played better as the game went on. How did you feel at the start of the game today?
I felt fine. Just happy to be back on the floor with my guys and go out there and compete.
Coach talked about how one thing that he liked was the fourth quarter. I think he held them to 14 or 15 points. What did you think those guys did better adjustment-wise or defensively?
We're talking. The second half, we gave 46 in the whole second half, and they had 40 in the first quarter, or 39. But we just talked in the second half. We were a little bit more physical into the ball, rebounding, talking on the switches and stuff like that. So, when we do that and we talk and we're helping each other, and we're a good defensive team. But when we're not, as we displayed in the first half, we can be one of the worst defensive teams in the league.
How frustrating is the season been for you this far?
We're just a better team than our record show, and we all know that. We're not closing out games, not getting off to good starts. So that's the most frustrating part. We know we're a better team than what our record show. It's just about going out there and actually proving it.
Anthony Davis, we're a better team than our record shows, and he says it in a melancholy way. You can look at his eyes, gesture, see that all the trade talk is wearing on him. But this came out of came out of the blue. The Brooklyn Nets put up 74 points on the Pelicans in the first half. 74 points. And pretty much the team played from behind the entire game. They kind of shortened up the lead for about 8 at one point before they just couldn't get any closer. It's absolutely just astounding to me. It's absolutely astounding how pathetic a lot of the decision making is as the coaches level, because you see effort on the floor by these players. But what are you supposed to get out of your bench players when they don't have any rhythm? You don't have a consistent bench rotation. You refuse to go. I mean, it's just absolutely mind-numbing because we keep going over the same stuff over and over again. They're losing the same way every day. It's because of defense. Every game is the same thing. Defense, turnovers, missing free throws, bad perimeter defense. It's the same stuff over and over again. And every now and again, they'll get it corrected or they'll play. But it's no consistency. That's maddening. That's maddening because the coach is not reaching them properly. And I keep saying this guy was a bad fit for this team. He shouldn't have been there. But alas, now you guys see what I was talking about. Hiring a coach that had a losing record. Here's Alfred Payton to talk about the game.
Yeah, I felt good. I was moving well. Felt good out there.
What did you think? Obviously, you guys got off to a bad start. What did you think you guys needed to do better defensively to start better?
The first thing is communicate, but the biggest thing is we just got to go down, man. I felt like we got beat off the dribble too easily tonight. Obviously, it's a credit to them. They got great guard play over there, really good guard play. All those guys can get to the rim and create their own shot. But we got to man up and guard our guy.
Coach talked after the game about one of the positive was the defense in the fourth quarter. You got them down to something in the teens. What was it, adjustments, or you guys just had better effort, or a combination of that?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think we was better effort. I think our communication got better as the game went on. We just got to find a way to get that from the very beginning.
I know, obviously, you can't take a lot from offense because of losing the game, but I mean, did you feel like you guys made it, at least when you're on the floor, you're making more progress as far as pushing the ball, and at least had certain stretches where you guys were good offensively?
Oh yeah, I think we had great pace. I think our pace could be better. Obviously, like I said before, it's tough when guys are making shots to get the pace you want, but I think we did a good job with that. We got some open looks, just got knocked down. I think the offense was fine. I think we scored enough points tonight. Shoot better from the free throw line. Got to get 80% on the road.
Hey, Alfred Payton tell you, man, we got to shoot better on the free throw line. Not only that, Alfred, but it's the fact that you got to know when the shots are not falling from downtown to attack the basket. That's just fundamental basketball. Shots not falling from downtown. Stop shooting them and attack the basket. And the coach should know when your team is not hitting the shots that they're supposed to. Another thing is offensive rebounds. They're one of the worst teams in the league in offensive rebound. You know why? Because it's very rarely are there people underneath the rebound when all these other guys are jacking up three-pointers. It's just amazing. Then they run back only to let the guy. It doesn't make any sense, and they keep trying to run it out there, doing the same stuff over and over again. It don't work. They're not responding to it. Do something else, or better yet, fire these guys. Get rid of the defensive the coach, which is Ehrman. I call for Ehrman to be fired. The defensive coach needs to be fired for the Pelicans. I ran down the statistics in the game. We looked at the bench play. Solomon Hill, 7 minutes, no points. Frank Jackson, 5 minutes, no points. Tim Frazier, 9 minutes, 2 points. Ian Clark, 8 minutes, no points. That's your bench had 5 points versus their bench, which took you apart. So, I mean, you're playing a half a team versus a full team, and those guys were on point with this. Top scorers for those guys was D'Angelo Russell, who I warned you about in the pregame, in the preview of this game. 22 points he finished with Harris. Joe Harris had 21 points. 19 points off the bench for Carroll. 12 points off the bench from Napier. 18 points for Dinwiddie off the bench. So, I mean, you look at what the bench was. They bench just literally culminated with the fact they had solid play in the starting lineup. You can't have, and those guys went 4 guys deep into their bench. Didn't have to go any further than that because they pretty much had the rhythm of the game pretty much together. But it gets to a point where you have to question the sanity of the coach to keep doing the same crap over and over again, looking for them to change. What you're doing is not working, and he refuses to change. And he put Etwan Moore back in the line. I'm like, Kuroks was rebounding the ball over his head and putting up shots over it. And Crooks is what, 6'9", 6'10", and he's matched up against Etwan Moore, and that makes sense to you? It's just asinine, man. But let's go into the next matchup we got as the Pelicans. Let's get the setup with Cleveland now. I shouldn't have to break all this Cleveland game down to you. Come on. Do I really have to break this game down. But for show consistency, let's keep it going. Jordan Clarkson is the top player as far as points on the team, averaging about 17 points a game. Top rebounder is Thompson. He has 11, and then the top assist man is Larry Nance with almost 3.5. Nikolai Mirotic is supposed to be getting ready to come back. I don't know if it's for this game, but they got him listed as out. It might be the second Cleveland game where he'll come back. David Nwamba is out, and Ante Zizic is out for Cleveland. It'll be in Quicken Loans Arena. And the thing about this Cleveland club, this team is not very good. They are 8-30. They're 5-14 at home. The Pelicans should go in there and get them a win, get them together very soon, get them together easily. 116 Pelicans average on the season versus 115, but they're giving up. They're shooting them almost 48% from the field. They're getting about 47 rebounds a game, about 27 assists a game, 5 blocks a game, 7 steals per game. They are 3-7 out of the last 10 games. Now, Cleveland, they're averaging 102 a game. They give up 111 a game, 44% from the field, 43 rebounds per game, 20 assists, 2.5 blocks, 7 steals, and they are 1-9 the last 10. Cleveland are currently on a 7-game losing streak. I could tell you 5 of them: Chicago, Memphis, Miami, Atlanta, and then the last one against Miami when they lost 117-92. This is not a good team. Not a good team at all. The Pelicans up and down, up and down. If they lose to Cleveland, they have 2 games coming up in the next 4 or 5 days with Cleveland. They got a matchup with Cleveland. Here they come home and they have a couple games, and Cleveland's one of the home games. It's just, there's no sense why the Pelicans should be losing games to teams like Brooklyn, and hopefully not against Cleveland. But this is the stretch where they get easier play, where they're supposed to dole out a little bit more pain and get back into this thing. Problem is the Pelicans are getting inundated by these stories, constant stories. It's almost there's 3 or 4 of them every day about Anthony Davis and the fact that he's going to demand a trade. And, I see people, writing stories about building up the Pelicans bench and adding this guy to the rotation and doing this and all this kind of stuff. The reality situation is you won't win games with Anthony Davis playing center like that. It's just not, it doesn't make any sense. We can't consistently ask Anthony Davis to play center for 82 games. You have a small ball lineup, that's fine. But to ask Anthony Davis to be a small ball center for 82 games is a bit much. That's a bit much. He hadn't played that much freaking center since he was at the University of Kentucky. And don't say, well, he won a championship doing it that way. Listen, he wasn't nearly as skilled as what he is now. He's more of an asset he pretty much is a athletic stretch 4. That's what he is. He's a stretch 4. He didn't evolve this like Sergio Ibaka. Remember, he just was a dominant beast around the paint. Then he developed a 3-point shot and a jump shot. Now he considers he used that in his game. You know why? Because those big guys don't necessarily always like to go down there and get beat on. Sometimes they want to take their shots from 20, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20 feet out. And Anthony Davis can shoot it. He got range. He can shoot the 3. So if that's the case, we need somebody to roam around underneath the basket if Anthony Davis is going to be a stretch 4. Is it Julius Randle? No, he's out shooting 3s too. So when somebody takes a shot, misses the shot, there's nobody there. The opposition gets it, goes up the court. Excuse me. Do I need to make a prediction on this game, y'all? Seriously, do I really need to make a prediction? Hopefully it's the Pelicans. If not, Al Gentry shouldn't even be on the plane. He shouldn't even be allowed on the plane if they lose this game. They'll win. But ultimately, I'd like to thank y'all for listening to the Pelican Postgame Report. Subscribe to the show. Hit the notification bell. Support our sponsors. Link in the description section. Join the social media. Thank you for listening. Peace.
You're listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network for all things Pelicans.
Are you a Pelicans fan? Check out the Pelican Postgame Report on the PRO Media Network.
The Kleins family has been getting people to go nuts for old nuts since 1995. As legends have it, a number of the Kleins friends who heard the idea said you can go nuts trying to name a store like that. In the excitement, the Kleins thought their friends said old nuts instead of go nuts and proceeded to throw caution to the wind. Old Nuts has over 2,000 items, bulk and wholesale prices of a whole lot of your favorite fruits, Nuts and Confessions, a selection of gift baskets for any budget, any occasion, and provides one of the best and impressively rated shopping experiences on the web. Fact is, between their selection, service, speed, or their online presence in the virtual mirror retail experience, they have developed an enviable client base that's comprised of personal and professional customers who count on their remarkable range of gift baskets. Think of gift basket, think about Old Nuts. Check them out, oldnuts.com. Check the link in the description section below. Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessories, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog, newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.